So you want to learn how to play the two new IDs, that being the two new thumb IDs that just came out. So don't worry, I'm here to tell you about their kits, status effects, passives, and what they can do in the battlefield. What pros and cons these units have, and what to expect out of them. So let's begin of how many skills, passives, status effects these two have. Heathcliff has around 6 clashable skills that deal both burn and tremor throughout the clashes, 5 passives and 3 status effects. For Rodion, she has around 8 clashable skills that deal both burn and tremor as well, 5 passives and 6 status effects. So let's start with Heathcliff's passives, which is called Duelo de Espero, that gains Maturing Textbook, which is a status effect that he has. While the target has it, has been defeated, and has the duel escalates but was not inflicted, then the enemy gets inflicted with that, and also you heal SP equal to the duel escalate that the enemy has. The next passive, which is called Desperate Struggle, that while Rodion is on the field, she attacks an enemy with the base skill while she has Eye of Precognition. Heathcliff then follows it up with a skill called La Spada di Plamou, being an opposed attack. And if there's an attack towards Rodion that's unimposed, Heathcliff will then activate Assist Defense for her, taking the damage. Note that none of these will activate if Heathcliff is staggered or in a panic state. Next passive is Parliament Style, which gains effect based on Maturing Textbook on Heathcliff and dual escalates on the enemy, while also taking less damage, plus buff, and while inflicting Severed Tendon. Heathcliff's support passive is called In One-on-One Duel, which gives one ally with the fastest speed burn on hit to enemy. However, if there's a thumb member, they get prioritized first, plus they get tremor. Finally, the last passive, which is for Ryoshu, which gains alignment, inflicting tremor on base skills that then trigger tremor burst. Now Heathcliff's 3 status effects, that being the dual escalates, which just buffs this unit up, Severed Tendon, which is debuffs on the enemy that makes their base power lower, that just expires at the end of the turn, and Maturing Textbook, which is just another buff for base skills. Now for the clashable skills that he has. The first skill is called La Spada di Plamou, with 2 coins. The second skill is called
Colpi sottani.
which has 3 coins. The third skill is
Il cacciatore.
which has 3 skills as well. The second skill is called
Sezionatura di cervo.
with 4 red coins that consumes all the dual escalates on the enemy while gaining Maturing Textbook. And if the main target is defeated, gaining more Maturing Textbook. Finally, his defense skill is a counter called Measuring Blade Reach with 2 coins. And for the final skill that is exclusive to a certain ID, that's called I Will Protect. That's 1 coin that heals some SP while the ID gains protection. With that being said, this Heathcliff ID is a solid pick to be in the field for the thumb. Not a crazy unit, not a bad one, just a slot for the thumb. Some nice buffs to have in general. The gist of him is, well, to debuff the enemies while applying effects to make him stronger and be a tank. Now then, the next ID is someone with a strong mouth that's smoking hot, and that is the House of Spiders, the Thumb Nurse Father, Rodion. So let's begin with her passives, the first one being the Eye of Precognition. When you start the round, she has 30 stacks of Eye of Precognition, and while this effect goes down to 0, it then converts to the Eye of Precognition Overheat. So when Rodion has Eye of Precognition, she gains Allocating Future every clash. While there's an opposed attack, clash loss, or red coins, Rodion activates the Precognition skill, which evades those attacks. The way you lose Eye of Precognition is by losing clashes and activating the skill Precognition or being attacked. At the end of this turn, Eye Precognition is converted into Eye Precognition Overheated, which reloads her bullets, and the next turn replaces base skills if there's no disposal on the threshold. Now the 3 ways Rodion can get Shin are through getting staggered, Heathcliff dying, or if Eye Precognition drops to 0. Now for her second passive, The Shame of
Famiglia Punatelli.
which gains poise and poise count for every acceleration round threat. At the start of this turn, if this unit has disposal, then inflict game target on an enemy that Rodion attacked last turn. If no enemies have game target, then inflict the enemy with the lowest HP.
La Spada di Palermo.
This is the next one that Rodion has X amount of acceleration round. Skill 3 gains glowing power, deals more power if the enemy has burn, and deals even more power if the enemy has a shield. The support passive, which is called Weaklings Not Worth, gives an ally with the fastest speed offense level up from a burst on the enemy. For the next turn, if they are in the thumb, they gain haste. The final passive is for Ryosho, which gains alignment with defensive skills, coin power, and base skills deal more damage dealt. Now for the status effects. With Eye of Precognition, that loses stack per turn to Overheat, that gain offense and damage level. Now Accelerating Future deals more damage for each stack, plus coin power. Game target on enemies take more damage from Rodion. Chin is Chin. And finally, her Accelerating Round is ammo she uses on certain skills, which in short, AR.
히스클리프! 히스클리프! 이런 미친... 사냥 끝! 모조리 해체해줄게!
Now for her clashable skills that she has, that being called
Colpi di taglio.
with 2 coins. Second skill is I'll gladly blast a hole through ya, which has 3 coins that spends 2 AR. First 2 coins. However, if Rodion doesn't have any AR, then she uses the skill called.
Sezionatura di cervo.
The third skill is
Sezionatura di elefante.
that spends AR and has 4 coins. Second skill for skill 1 is called
Sezionatura di coniglio.
it's unclashable and does not trigger defensive skills and cannot trigger the skill to be reused again. The second skill for skill 2 is
Sezionatura di cervo.
with 4 coins. And finally, second skill for third skill is disposal with 5 coins. And when you kill the enemy, you then reload and gain another disposal if the enemy had a game target. The next skill is a counter with the name that gains some AR. And finally, for exclusive defense, which is precognition, if successfully evading all coins on a skill as an opposed attack against the enemy while gaining some SP. Note that both of these characters are slash attack types. With that being said, these 2 units are good and are worth the shard and summoning. The only con that I could think about for both units are probably Heathcliff being a little bit weaker than Rodion. But other than that, they could just work together just fine. They don't really need to be together, but it's just another buff. Just makes them stronger if they're together, but there's no need to have them both. So having a full team with a thumb, probably ideal for them since they help the thumb a lot. Plus both of these units doing burn and tremor that help well with other certain IDs. So with that, yeah, thanks for watching and be sure to
자신 있으면 더 하면 너 대준다. 지긋지긋해. 당신도 팔레르모도 전부 다! 얼마나 썼다고 벌써. 히스클리프! 지긋지긋해. 요시드 그 새끼도 너도 전부 다! 야 히스클리프! 심장을 노려! 씨발 그럼 내가 불렀지 귀신이 불렀겠어?
죄송합니다.
빠져가지고
예.
너 히스클리프 네가 감히 나를
지금이라면